Aloha. We're doing another Hawaii GOP members interview. Today we're interviewing Joelle Seashell. Joelle, please introduce yourself. Let us know what you're currently running for.
Hi, my name is Joelle Seashell, and I am currently running as the State House Representative for District 21. District 21 is comprised of Pololo, St. Louis Heights, Wilhelmina Rise, Maunalani Heights, and a little portion of Kaimuki. So formerly we were District 20. I currently live in Pololo in the back. I work as a realtor on the island, and I am the child of a missionary. I grew up in Papua New Guinea. My father was a Bible translator. I love God, I love our country, I love the people of this island, and one of the reasons that I've decided to take on this mission is because I've been very disturbed by the direction that our state and our country is headed in.
Great. What's been your experience with the Hawaii GOP so far?
Well, my understanding is that if I'm a candidate running as a Republican on the island, I really have to have a grassroots movement, and I have to put in a lot of sweat equity. I understand that if you are a candidate with the GOP, you can't expect to receive any funding from them. I know that they do host different kinds of training, and I think that for some of my peers, they've offered headshots, photos, things of that nature, advice on how to campaign and create signing. So I think that is my knowledge of their activities.
Well, great. So before you were part of the political process in the Hawaii GOP, what were you doing, and what made you actually make the decision to go ahead and get involved with the Hawaii GOP and the political process?
Well, that's a great question, because to be quite frank, I don't like the idea of taking on the work of a politician. Really, in the United States though, if you are involved in politics, you're actually an indentured servant to the people. So my role and my job, if I was elected into office, would actually be to serve the people within my district. And so I take that very seriously. I think that there's been a gross misrepresentation of the people, especially over the last 2 years with the pandemic. I do not think that the voice of the people has been respected or has been heard by the people who are legislating in the Capitol. And I actually went to a volunteer dinner. I was helping with Tupai's campaign. He's running for lieutenant governor. And I had someone approach me and pray over me, saying that they think that I should run for state house. And at the time, I thought it was a ridiculous idea. I immediately in my gut said, no, that's not something that I want to do. But after praying about it and seeking counsel from my father, I kind of felt like I needed to take it seriously. So I started to take steps and make forward movement to see if I would continue to have affirmation. And it did seem that anybody that I sought out to try and run who I thought would be a good candidate was either busy or didn't have the desire or didn't want it to reflect poorly on their business. There was a bunch of reasons. And each time I sought somebody out, they ended up telling me, you need to do it. And so it really just came back to this idea that our founding fathers created a beautiful system where we as individuals in our communities need to be civically engaged if we want to maintain the integrity of our fundamental rights. And so that's essentially where it just came down to me thinking about what is the one thing that I could do to help change the direction of where we're headed. And it came down to legislation. It's really a lot of these laws that are kind of oppressing the people of Hawaii that need to be changed, that I think would change the direction of our state.
Great. There's a lot of people in Hawaii who are reluctant to get involved and are maybe sitting on the sidelines. And right now, it's more important than ever to have a direct message with them, to get them. What would your message be to people who are, worried about similar things and sitting on the sidelines and not getting involved, what could you say to them that you think would get them involved, and how important is it for people to get involved in the political process at this time?
Absolutely. So I would say you need to not have a faint heart. You need to understand that we're in an unprecedented moment. We have 76 seats up for re-election this year. I was just talking to someone earlier today, and they said that they've been running for state house representative for 18 years, and they've never seen something like this happen. And in large part, I think it's related to the census that happened recently. But we have an opportunity. So there's a division of power within our government. Obviously, we have the legislative, judicial, and executive branch. And so we have an opportunity now. There's 51 House seats up for re-election. If we took 26 positions, we would then have legislative majority, right? And so I've spoken to a lot of people as I, announced that I'm running for this position, and their initial response is just, oh, I had one guy tell me yesterday, I've put my head in the sand. I no longer want to pay attention to what's going on because over all of these years I've seen so much corruption, I just don't have any faith in the system. And another guy earlier this morning, same thing, like he just doesn't want to be involved with politics anymore, is what he has said. And he's been trying to make headway and effort. And what I keep on telling them is now is not the time to give up. Have you seen the legislation that they've been introducing in this last session? You know, specifically SB 1697, where they want to start teaching kids as young as 5 years old about anal sex. I hate to say that, but the fact of the matter is like we need to wake up and see what they're doing. And then you have SB 2125, where they are trying to make it a misdemeanor and have parents go to jail for up to a year if they come out and annoy or harass anybody in the educational, whether it's a teacher, an administrator, or anybody in the educational system. And so it is small pieces of legislation like that, like those two things, and many more that really make me feel like we all need to come together. Now is not the time to say that you're discouraged and dismayed and you want to give up. Now more than ever, we have a chance and an opportunity to change the direction of the way things are headed. And so we all need to find in ourselves this unquenchable hope and determination, a tenacity to go after this opportunity and bring righteousness back to our lands.
Wonderful message. I hope those people can get involved and take it seriously, because it is a serious time. Is there any other message you would like to tell the people, maybe about just anything in general related to any particular part of this process, and maybe about life? You know, any wisdom that you can share with any of the viewers that maybe can help them understand, you know, life, or you know, why we're in this battle, or what we can expect, you know, in the future. Option A, which is our choice, option B, which is not our choice.
Right. Well, I would say that we are in a spiritual battle. And so it really comes down to something as simple as light versus dark and good versus evil. And I feel that we are called to stand up for our children, and that if we don't take a stance and protect our way of life, it is already under attack and starting to dissolve before our very eyes. And so another idea that I keep coming back to is the fact that we all need to be unified, because the things that I want are things that I feel 99% of the people on our island want. You know, you want to live an easy life if possible. You want to be able to pay for all your bills and have money left over. You want to be able to offer nice things to your kids. You want to live a peaceful life with your neighbors. You want to have love and abundance. And unfortunately, those things, it's like sand in our hands, is just falling in between our fingers. So what we need to do is we actually need to unify. Even amongst the Republican Party, there's so much bickering and naysaying and so much energy that is put into division. And like to think that each individual only has a very limited amount of energy, and so you have to be very cautious and cognizant of what you focus on and where you will put that energy. So in that mindset, I really don't have time for any of the infighting, any of the bickering, any of the naysaying. I only have time to focus on what I feel is the number one goal, and that is to work together with others within the Republican Party to gain back legislative power so that we can stop these corrupted laws that are really putting us into a place of oppression and evil in our state, and allow for the people of Hawaii to thrive.
Wonderful message, everyone. This has been Joelle Seashell, and thank you for giving us all of your wonderful insight.
Thank you very much.
Aloha.
Aloha.